Welcome back, friends, to another budget meal video. I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or any other holiday I failed to mention. So today I'll be sharing a budget-friendly chicken parm recipe. This meal served for a family of 8. We had 2 extra people in our family this particular week. Let's go ahead and get into the ingredients. Okay, so what I'm going to be using is this chicken tenderloin that I got. I think it was about $8 and some change with $5 off and like 25% off. So this chicken was, I think it was between $1 and $3. I can't remember for all this chicken. So I'm going to be using this. I didn't save the package. I don't know why. Of course, we threw it out. And I'm going to be using this mozzarella cheese I just got recently for 99 cents. I have an open pack of, or an open bottle of spaghetti sauce, and it was $1.04 clearance at Target. I have this panko that I've had forever. I'm gonna grind it up a little bit more because I don't want it. Well, no, I think I'm gonna leave it as is. So I'm gonna be using this panko. Some Italian seasoning. Some ketchup. I have some diced tomato that I actually just defrosted in the microwave, and I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this and make it a little finer. It's diced, and I used it in a recipe earlier. And the rest of the minced garlic that I have. I'm of course gonna be using more seasonings, but I'm just telling you the basics of what I need. And then I have some frozen spaghetti noodles that I'm gonna just go ahead and heat through. So I'm gonna put this in hot water. If I need more, I'll make more, but this is what I'm using so far. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Here I have the chicken tenderloins, and I saw this trick on a video, and I wanted to see if it worked. Now let me tell you, this does take a bit of time. I find that it may be easier just to go ahead and use a knife to go ahead and pull this out. So all you do is you use a fork and you pull out that tendon out of the chicken, and it's supposed to just be so simple and easy. It really isn't. It takes more time than it needs to, but I went ahead. I was committed to doing it. So this chicken parm recipe, this will be great with anything. I mean, you can use beef, pork, anything you have in your freezer that you need to use up, because all you're going to do is bread it and you're going to cook it in the oven, or just go ahead and melt the cheese in the oven depending on what you have. And here I'm just showing you what I had left over after I went ahead and pulled those pieces out. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the freezer and use that for a chicken broth recipe. So once I went ahead and took all the tendons out, here I'm just going to go ahead and pound my chicken to make it a little thinner. So listen, this is a great recipe if you had any frustration during the holiday season, or you're just mad at 2020 and ready for 2021 to come around. So all I'm doing is just beating this chicken, and I'm gonna go ahead and thin it out a little bit. The only reason why I do this is because I want to make sure that the chicken cooks. I'm only going to be browning it on the stove, and I'm going to go ahead and melt the cheese in the oven. So between all of that, that will go ahead and ensure that my chicken cooks thoroughly. You don't have to do this, but this does help your chicken or any meat that you're using to ensure that it's cooked properly. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process. So this is a great meal because it's super quick, and you can go ahead and do this. You know, the holidays, we've been cooking all these big meals for our family. This is just something really quick and really simple, and it serves for quite a bit of people, and it's super delicious. Okay, so once I'm finished with the chicken, I like to go ahead and clean up my surface. I'm just using soap and water and some Lysol. So in my container, I'm adding flour, and I'm going to add the breadcrumbs. I'm going to go ahead and season this with some seasoning salt and some complete seasoning. Like I said, this would be great to go ahead and add your Parmesan if you have that grated Parmesan. I'm just showing you what it looks like. I realized there was not enough room to go ahead and bread my chicken. I'm not going to add any egg to it. So here I'm just adding a little paprika, and I'm just placing my chicken. Like I said, there's no egg, there's no wet ingredient that I'm adding here. But if you really feel like you need to go ahead and add something, go ahead and put water. There's no need to go and buy any extra milk or egg. If that's all you have is water, go ahead and use that. But like I said, you know, the chicken produces its own moisture, so really there's no need to go ahead and add any extra moisture here. I'm just breading everything, and seasonings are optional. Use whatever you have in your pantry and go ahead and make it happen. Okay, so because this is raw chicken that we're adding to this breading mixture, you want to go ahead and try to use up as much of the breading mixture as possible, because you will not be able to use it again. So whatever you don't use will have to go into the trash can. Not unless you're able to freeze it and then further use it for maybe a gravy mixture, but I would not recommend you keeping this flour around. Just go ahead and toss whatever extra, so just be mindful of the amount of flour or whatever you're going to use to bread your chicken. So to my blender, I'm adding my diced tomatoes. Remember, the tomatoes were frozen. And if you have any tomatoes that you probably bought throughout the week or something that you bought throughout the year that you need to go ahead and put up before it goes bad, you can always freeze those items and you can blend it and make a sauce out of it. So this pan, let me go ahead and let you guys know, yes, I'm no longer using this pan. I know a lot of you were concerned with this pan, but all I'm doing here is I'm browning my chicken pieces, and I'm just browning them. So as soon as they get to a color that I like, I'll go ahead and pull them off the stove. This would have been a great time to pull them off. I just wanted them to be a little more brown because remember, they're only going to be in the oven long enough to let the cheese melt. So to that same pan, I'm going to go ahead and add some butter and some oil, and I'll go ahead and pour out some of this butter. I like to go ahead and melt the butter all at one time if I can, and I'm going to use it a little bit later. So to this pan, I'm adding the Italian seasoning. I like to let the Italian seasoning heat up just a little bit just to bring out the flavor a little more, and I added quite a bit of Italian seasoning, so I poured some out. So to my pan, I went ahead and added that blended tomato and some ketchup and some complete seasoning, and I went ahead and put some water to my garlic because the garlic was almost over. I was completely out of it, so I just went ahead and rinsed out that container in order to put it inside of this tomato sauce. And there you saw me add some of the tomato sauce that I had, and I'll of course put some water inside of the bottle, rinse it out inside of the pan to get all of the tomato sauce. So here I'm just cutting up my cheese. My cheese was frozen prior to me doing this. What I could have done is let the cheese thaw out just a little and then go ahead and shred it, but I went ahead and let it thaw out completely. You can also crumble it because that cheese tends to want to crumble after it's been frozen. And then I'm just adding to my greased pan some of the sauce in order to ensure that the chicken does not dry out. And then I'm just going to place my chicken however I can place it. And then I'm going to add sauce to the top. And I'm going to add a little more sauce to one side because not everybody in my household likes cheese. So you'll see me add the cheese to one side and then move it over to make sure that I have a little extra on the one side and none on the other side. So then I'm just placing the cheese. This will go in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll set the oven to broil. Okay, so to my baking dish, I went ahead and sprayed it down, and I was going to go ahead and add these biscuits. And there's 8 biscuits that are in this jumbo container. So I realized that this baking dish was too small, so I went ahead and got a baking sheet and put a silicone liner on it. And I'm just wiping down all of that stuff that I sprayed in there, all that butter spray onto the biscuits because we can't waste anything here. We don't like waste anything. So I'm just rearranging those, and I'm going to put them in the oven and cook them according to package instructions. There I have my water that was already boiling, and all I did was go ahead and put the frozen pasta in there, and it takes no more than about a minute or two for that to defrost. Okay, so here's my butter. I went ahead and added some more butter to the butter that I had earlier from the pan, and all I did was add some garlic powder and some Italian seasoning. I'm just going to go ahead and spoon that on top of these rolls once they were cooked. You can use whatever seasoning you have, and you'll salt to taste if you need to. This is so simple and it's so good. It's one of the ways that I like to make everybody feel like they're getting something special. It's really not that special, but it tastes really, really good, so nobody can tell different. So here I'm just showing you what the chicken parm looks like once it came out. As you can see, one side had the cheese and one side had sauce, and that's perfect for our family. That's just how we like to eat our food. And here I'm going to plate it up and show you what it looks like. And we serve this with a side of green beans. Simple, quick. The green beans, you can heat them on the stove or in the microwave, so whatever's easier for you guys. So there you have it. This was dinner for us this night. Super easy, super simple. Again, as always, guys, thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you for commenting and sharing my videos. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that your new year is filled with peace and good health. And until my next video, guys, bye.